Okay, it's 8 o'clock here in the UK. I'm going to get started. So welcome to this monthly Zoom call. I think this is probably number 5 in the series that we've had so far this year. And we've got one other booked so far in July. So we'll do a rain check to see if everybody wants to continue with that next month. I've got a few new people, I think. I think it's Leah from the land down under in Australia. And I don't know if Teresa has joined yet, but she's also new. Everybody else has been on before. So welcome, whether it's your first time or many times that you've joined these calls. What I'll do is, as usual, we'll start off with a meditation for about 10 or 15 minutes. We'll see what comes up in that for you. We'll include an inquiry as part of that meditation that might provoke something for you. And then we'll open the opportunity for your questions, which could be anything to do with the meditation or stuff that's here for you now. So we can be quite organic about that. If you're new, this is the Infinite Silence Meditation, or a version of it that I'm going to be guiding you in. If you've not tried it before and you're a recent subscriber, just go with the flow. Don't try and visualize anything. Just take the guidance as it is and just be open to that and see what emerges. So if everybody's good to go, if you want to gently close your eyes and just simply and silently become aware of what's here now. And just silently accepting without any judgment whatever's here for you now. Just simply, silently witnessing just like you're watching a movie from the inside. And as you witness whatever phenomena are here, just be open now. From your heart. To the experience of the spheres or spheres of light. Nothing to visualize. Just be open to that. this energy of spheres of light is the same as the pure, universal, non-personal state. I am pure being. Pure I am. And this energy of I am, as pure as it is, can also be seen or witnessed. And it is seen or witnessed from a deeper presence that I refer to as the silent witness, merging with this silent presence. And this silent witness now is like a sliver of ice in an ocean of water. And it's melting, dissolving, becoming one with the water. And the water is actually an ocean of infinite silence. In silence, you will realize truth. In truth, you will realize you are silence. Infinite silence. Eternally this. And now we'll just be open to some inquiries. Nothing to analyze. Just let the question rest there. Who am I? And just be with that. Who am I? And now asking inside, who am I with nothing to prove? Who am I with nothing to prove? Just rest with that. And just gently now, continuing to rest in that. In a moment, I'll ring the Tingshao bells just once. And simply, silently aware of your body, the chair you're sat in, or whatever you may be late on. Aware of the space. And when the moment's right for you, just gently opening your eyes. Good. Good. So now's the opportunity, if anybody's got anything to either share from the meditation, whatever came up for them, or any other question, if you can raise your hand. I think you can. I think that's the reactions feature that you use to do that. And we'll see if anybody's got anything to ask or share. Is that Ruth trying to? If you want to go, Ruth.
Okay. There seems to be more than one step on my iPad to raise my hand. That was I guess, an interesting inquiry question, because my first, I guess, reaction to what if I had nothing to prove was, oh, that sounds great. That sounds very peaceful and nice.
Yeah.
But then more thoughts came in of, well, you already don't have anything to prove.
So what was
right?
that bit?
I already don't have anything to prove, in that, at least not from the standpoint of like the working world, out in the world, because I'm retired, and so as long as I can kind of take care of the body and the house and like the usual things, which isn't, I don't really consider that proving anything, and yet I do struggle with the feeling sometimes of like taking up space in the world and not justifying my existence. So when you asked the inquiry question, it kind of brought that up again. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's quite important. That. Yeah. And so, and was there any kind of emotional reaction to that, or is it just an awareness of that?
An awareness of that. I think there's layers underneath that if I sat with it longer, um, there would probably be some emotion to come with it too.
Yeah.
But there was definitely at first, oh, how peaceful, how nice, and then it was immediately like, I don't, well, what do I have to prove? Now I'm already there, and yet don't feel okay
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a not okayness, I guess,
Yeah.
with it all.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. So the first part, that kind of sense of relaxation or peace or, oh, this feels nice. That's awareness. Um, Being completely okay with that, and ultimately that which we are is the infinite awareness or infinite silence. But obviously then layers of the emotional body can pop up into awareness, be seen, or maybe mind starts trying to analyze this, and the awareness comes about, as you put it in your words, taking up space in the world and so forth. And when we drill down into that's a layer in the emotional body, and that sense, um, basically, it ultimately that will all boil down to what I'll refer to as a something that everybody carries around until the essence has truly been seen and the emotional body's been deeply enough dissolved to get beyond that. A sense of core unworthiness. And that sense of core unworthiness, some of the modern parlance for it, or an expression of it, you'll hear talked about, particularly on social media these days, is imposter syndrome. But that's just an aspect of it. And that ultimately, all of that ultimately comes from the belief, in the case of mistaken identity, that I guess many of you have heard me speak about before. And that belief is the belief that all I am is the body mind. And that's separate from all the other body mind experiences. And using our fibre optic lamp metaphor here, where we identify with the point at the end, but in truth, and this bit's the I am or spheres of light, and this bit's the power, the source, the infinite silence, which is actually everywhere. It's that sense of separation from that that creates the sense of unworthiness, or the sense of something to prove, or the belief that there's something to prove, and then that gets added to by conditioning from when you were born, in childhood, whether it be parents, siblings, teachers, society in general. You know, you have to prove your worth, or you've got to show your worth. All this kind of belief systems get imposed upon you, and we believe that, and it then adds more and more layers. None of that is ultimately true about whom you really are, that which you really are. And so the reason the inquiry is important is to start to evoke a recognition or an awareness that's there, and that whether we were conscious of it before or not, it needs to be seen, and seeing it, feeling it, and witnessing it from the space of awareness, the untouched awareness or infinite silence, is ultimately the only vehicle that's necessary to dissolve that. And it's that awareness, that infinite silence, that you can trust. The appearance, the phenomena, the not worthiness, or the sense of something to prove, or taking up space, is basically all just aspects of that fundamentally flawed belief. Is this all making sense for you, Ruth?
Yeah, it is. So the initial, um, the initial uh, kind of insight, I guess, when you asked the inquiry question was a lot closer to the truth than what came in afterward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean that what came in afterward was wrong. What that was showing you
Mhm.
was that there's unresolved energy here. There's a belief here that's being, whether mostly unconsciously in most people's cases, being held onto. And so that fact that then comes up to be seen, it's like a wave arising. And when we can allow that wave to be there and witnessed and felt and trust only the awareness, then that's the key to the dissolution of of that belief, of that aspect that's holding on to that. Is
Yeah,
that
sitting with it instead of going off and engaging in some activity where I can feel like I'm proving myself or justifying
yes?
or whatever, something that I can point to out in the world and say, "Look what I just did,"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And actually,
Again,
that leads me to something that I was just doing some work on the book today, and there was a post that I'd shared a while back, or some time ago now, and it was a pointing that self-realization isn't about self-help. So the self-help industry is quite a big industry now across the globe, and it's not wrong or it's not right, but ultimately self-realization isn't about that, because self-help is about essentially about dreaming better for the identity self, and that which you truly are is before and beyond that and is in no need of improvement. The invitation here is to realize it, and that's so big, indeed it's infinite, that the identity self can be in fear of that, or can also take a space or a perspective that I can't possibly be worthy of this. But that also is a mistaken belief. So this is one of the many reasons why this inquiry is so important.
mhm.
Is that all okay for you, Ruth?
It it really is, yeah, yeah, thank you.
So seeing that,
Mhm.
and that this self, that the true self, is in need of no improvement. It's already complete and whole as it is.
Mhm.
And the identity self will find that hard to accept, if we're honest. But it's through the power of the awareness that we come to the dissolution of that.
Right.
Anything else you want to ask or share about?
No, no, that was really helpful pointings. I thank you.
Good. Okay, good. Well, thank you for sharing that. Because as I've said on many times on these calls, one person's question is really everybody's question. So I think I can see Stefan's hand up.
Yes. Um, I have something I think is related to what you said, Ruth. Because I noticed in my own life, I'm focusing on just relaxing, and when I feel emotions coming up, I just notice them and can feel them getting calmer. And then after a little while, I start noticing my mind kicks in, and oh, I want to do something. I can't be still, and it gets really. The last week, it has been really very noticeable. But okay, I know what it is. It's the mind that tries to prove itself and say that, hey, I'm here still, and I want to do something. And when I relaxing, I'm going to say that you're not needed right now. Yes, I am. So it's inside conflicts that probably will resolve someday. But I noticed that it's a little annoying sometimes.
Yes. Okay. So the mind will do that kind of stuff. It's, in a way that's, so as you said earlier, there's some similarity to Ruth's experience there. There's this initial, this is nice and relaxing. And then basically the mind will try and fight back, or what we call the mind will try and fight back. Because as one opens to awareness or infinite silence, we've been conditioned into for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, however long we've been in this body, into believing that we are the identity, believing that we are the body-mind experience, all its emotions, its thoughts, its beliefs. And basically that identity self, that mind experience has been at front and center stage. And as we open into awareness, into this unchanging presence, it perceives itself and its position in life under threat. And that can bring up a kind of fight back, a bit like, in Star Wars, the Empire fights back, the mind fights back, tries to regain a foothold. But that is also a phenomena, just like I talked about with Ruth. That's a wave arising. It can be seen. One minute there's a sort of stillness and things are okay, and then mind's going kicking back in and saying, no, I'm here. I do need to do something. And we'll start to come up with 1,000,001 thoughts about why that's necessary. But you can also see that as a wave arising, a phenomena appearing within or in front of this unchanging awareness. And when that's seen and recognized, kind of like with like an inner smile almost, just kind of seeing that that's a phenomenon that's arising and trusting only the awareness, the one that is aware of it, aware of the arising of the fight back, or the thought, or the beliefs coming up around that. When you trust that and only that, then this wave can arise. It might even be a tsunami. But in the total trust of that awareness, then that noise, that activity will settle down. And this is not only the route to dissolving that, but it's actually also the essence of meditation, what meditation really is. The essence of meditation is awareness, that's all. Just awareness, unchanging awareness, untouched awareness, unmoved awareness. And the great news is that's also the essence of self-realization. And that's also the way to the recognition of inner peace that's already here now. So it's not that this is a bad thing, seeing this fight back. Actually, what that is an invitation. Just coming back to that, Stefan, the recognition of that.
Yes, I can notice that there are thoughts that want to do something. They have an intensity, and I thought that okay, let them just let them do what they do, and just notice what's going on. It's
Perfect.
not me really. It feels like me, but I know that it's just an energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that any phenomena, all of them appear within or in front of awareness. So
It's much easier when I'm relaxed to notice the difference between the observer and the thought.
exactly. And so if there's a phenomena there, that's not it, because the phenomena is always being watched, and you are that which is the witness to it.
Yes, you gave me this beautiful question. What is observing that? That is a really good one for anything, really.
Yeah, yeah.
What is observing that?
So, so when we are exploring this "Who am I?" question or variations on it, and then sometimes when I'm guiding people, like we're doing now, is who or what is the witness to that phenomena? Who or what?
And that is a real I.
Correct. The infinite I. And then the next part of that inquiry that people will have heard me say many times is that which is the witness affected by the phenomena?
No?
And the answer to that is no, as you've just said. It's always unchanging, unmoving, untouched, unblemished, complete, and indeed infinite. And therein is the essence of self-realization, the essence of meditation, the essence of inner peace, just in those two inquiries. It really is that, ultimately in the end, that simple. But we take a journey into trusting and being open to that, and we're taking stepping stones, and then eventually it becomes what I would call true self-evident.
Yeah, just taking notes here.
Okay, I thought
So
somebody,
that's the sound you heard.
I thought
Because
somebody
it felt important.
typing, yeah. So we're going to have the recording of this anyway. So is anything else there for you, Stefan?
No, I just wanted to share this with people that when you try to relax, there will be a fight back.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know about it now, so I don't take it that seriously. I just know that this will pass.
Good. This too will pass. This too will pass. All phenomena. That's true of all phenomena, by the way.
Thank you,
You're,
Philip.
you're welcome, Stefan. You're welcome.
Philip, I have a
Yeah.
question. So, is awareness the only phenomena that cannot be seen? Because I try and see it intellectually, but that's the mind, isn't it? Trying
Correct.
to see a phenomena.
Yeah, it is. So the mind is trying to get involved in thinking, oh, I get this awareness thing, or trying to find awareness, but the mind is actually an appearance within awareness. So recently, in fact, I think you may have seen this video, Ben, but I did I shared or released an updated version of an edited live stream that I did a number of years ago, and it's called The Unseen Seer.
Yeah.
The Unseen seer. Now, the reason that video has that title, it's on the YouTube channel, both the original live stream and the edited version, which is about an hour long, I think. The reason it has that title is because of the way, really, the way you just framed that question. In and of itself, it isn't a phenomena in the traditional sense of the term. The infinite silence is the essence, and we might say that awareness is its firstborn. In other words, this infinite silence is aware of itself as that, and it's just simply aware, that's all. And the infinite silence, because it's before time, beyond space, before and beyond anything at all, and there's no contrast there either, then there aren't any phenomena, because phenomena are measured in time and space and form and contrast. So this infinite silence is just simply aware of itself as that. Now, in that stream I refer to, or that video, it's on the YouTube channel if you want to have a look at it. I refer to a question that I came across a number of years ago, and I'm not sure what its original source is. I did a bit of search around to see if I could find out where it had originally come from, but I couldn't. And it's called the Piranha question. The Piranha question. And the question goes, can this which sees, can this also be seen? Can this also be seen? Now, when you explore that question to its ultimate extreme, and the reason the question's called the Piranha question, this is my version of it, if you like, is because, like piranhas, it'll swallow you up, basically. It swallows the identity self up, because the mind will never find a resolution to that question. That which we call the mind will never find a resolution, and ultimately it'll give up the ghost, and the belief in the identity self will be swallowed up by the infinite power of awareness, and it will dissolve. The body-mind experience of Ben will still be here, but it will be seen that that also is an appearance within awareness. It's like your body-mind experience is like having a car. You might have a car, but you're not your car. And the body-mind experience is the vehicle, is the car, if you like, of the infinite silence or the infinite awareness. And so this question that you're asking about, is that the only phenomena because can't be seen? Well, it's not actually really a phenomena in the traditional sense, because it's before and beyond space, time, form and contrast. It's just awareness that's aware of itself. And then within that, all other phenomena. First, the state, the pure state, I am, infinite I am, pure being that's not personal. Spheres of light, or Hiranyagarbha in India, the golden egg of creation. First, as that is an appearance as a very pure expression of the infinite silence, and then that births space, time, form and contrast, the points of light that we call the body-mind experience. And these three together, the form, pure being, spheres of light and infinite silence, the power, the battery in this metaphor, is what's called the triality of consciousness. And it's this element, which is actually everywhere, that is aware of itself as that. And its expressions are so that it can come to know itself in its own experience. Because without that triality, there would just simply be silence, absolute. And there'd be no experience at all. And so the gift of life in this form, in the form of Ben, is because this universal power has chosen, if you like, to come to know itself in its own experience, and one of those expressions is the form of Ben. That making sense to you, Ben?
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. So everything, every phenomena in life is an appearance in front of or within awareness. And you are that awareness or infinite silence. So you won't be able to grasp this from the mind. We have a phrase in English, peace of mind, but peace is not of the mind. That's a misunderstanding. Peace is the perfume, if you like, the natural expression of that infinite silence. As is grace, as is love, as is joy for no reason, as is gratitude. So we're never going to get to this from the mind. And then I've got another stream also on my YouTube channel, which people might also want to have a look at. It's one of the older live streams. There's the full live stream is called Whose Mind Is It Anyway? But I think I did a half-hour clip off that, and that's about half an hour long, and that's called Whose Mind Is It Anyway? Part 1 or something like that. Because we perceive that this idea that we've got this concrete object called a mind, when really that's just a set of thoughts and beliefs. So the only essence, only awareness can recognize itself as that. And that happens when there's sufficient dissolution of identification, attachment, and most crucially, belief, in the case of mistaken identity, that all you are is the body-mind. It's not something that one's going to achieve or do. It's the reason it's called self-realization is because it's a realization. Oh my gosh, I, infinite I, am that. That being infinite silence, infinite awareness. So this is a very important question, Ben. Anything else you want to add or say on that?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at that fiber optic lamp. I've got one myself, haven't I? And it's like I'm trying to turn that fiber optic light back on itself. It cannot be done.
No.
So I'm before the seer.
Yeah, you're before and beyond all phenomena.
Okay.
Before and beyond all phenomena. And so it's the unseen, it's not seen by a person, it's unseen to the personhood, but it sees.
Let me just comment that. That was very important, that what you said, Ben, that the light cannot see backwards. That explains totally why mind can't see consciousness.
Correct. Yeah, so although I talk about taking the journey in and going down the filament, ultimately what we're doing, what the process is about recognizing, seeing from this, seeing from the, I'm pointing at the base of the lamp here, but actually this awareness is everywhere. That's a limitation in the metaphor. It's always every phenomena, and I've used this phrase a number of times tonight already, appears within awareness or in front of awareness. So the seeing is from this space. It's not that
Not
way.
from the body mind.
Sorry?
Not from the body mind.
Exactly, not from the body mind. The body mind is an appearance within awareness. So it's looking, not that it's a direction, but from within. And within isn't a direction. So this body mind appears within awareness. This awareness, which is everywhere, sees the appearance of the body-mind experience of Ben. And part of the realization process is there can be a dropping of body awareness. It's usually it's temporary, but there can be that the appearance of the body-mind experience can drop sufficiently so there's all that remains is just awareness. All that remains is just awareness. And then it's like that body-mind experience comes back online again. But now it is seen for what it is, an appearance within awareness. And that is the realization that although this body-mind experience is something that you have, it's not that which you are. Making sense, Ben?
That's incredible. Yeah.
It is incredible. Yeah. Is that okay for you? I can see another question coming in, so
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Philip.
Okay, good. So I think I can see Leah. I hope I've got your name right, Leah. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hello. I just realized my question's going out of my head when I... It's around what you were just talking about. So I think I've had a few of the states. I found you because of Back Gap, and you were talking about spheres of light, and I've had a state like that, but it doesn't seem to. I'm missing the perception shifts. So my experiences are very physical. I guess I'm questioning whether I need to add an approach or change an approach, because with the inquiries and the questions and the inner knowing, there's just a very big wall. I have a very physical, heavy rock energy when I do get to that point of almost trying to drop my person when I'm meditating.
Sure.
It's just this solid rock, like it's about to explode, and I'm relaxing, but yeah, it's very physical, but I'm not getting that shift in the way I see things. I'm not getting that kind of maybe behavior changes, but very subtle, to the point where I'm not sure if I'm just kidding myself. So I'm just interested in that.
Okay. So you're getting quite strong energetic physical experiences. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, relatively, not when I listen to what other people experience, but for
Okay.
me, yes. And a few states of very clear couple of times, very clear stillness and peace, but not regularly. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think I get a picture, and then you sort of a sense of like a block or a rock when I got the sense of a trying to relax or go deeper or something like that. Is that
I'm trying to go behind into that feeling of the unaffected space in a way, or I'm sort of trying to connect to that, but in a way that's not striving.
Yeah.
So it's a, yes, but I have fatigue stuff, so that energy is always in my meditation of having a very heavy body.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's go first to the few occasions when there's sort of been that sort of sense of peace or stillness there. Just be aware of those here now. Because that hasn't gone any, ultimately, from the universal perspective, hasn't gone anywhere. And this isn't about a thinking process, it's just about being aware energetically of that. Now, when those, let's call them experiences of peace, stillness, were there, the only reason that those were there is because at that moment, at that point, there'd been sufficient disidentification from mind or the body-mind experience, disidentification, attachment to, and belief in that that's what you were. And it's that that leads to that sense of peace or stillness or silence that's there. Now, so that's obviously transpired on at least a couple of occasions by the sound of it. The good news is it hasn't gone anywhere, but your mind, that which you call your mind and the identity, will want to go in search of that. I'll have some more of that, please. Thank you very much. Now, this is never going to happen from that space. Trying, I think that's the word you used, to get at that, or trying, or even trying not to try, is also trying. And so that's not the route, if you like. Coming back to our experience of peace, stillness that was there, and going back to what I was pointing at with Stefan, the key questions here are always who or what was aware of that, even the phenomena of peace or stillness, as subtle as it might have been, or even as strong as it might have been. Who or what was aware of that? Don't try and answer that from the mind. Just be with that. Has somebody else got their mic open here, by the way, or is it just Leah? There's
Garbage truck.
so who or what was aware of that? And then, if we can be open to the fact that it's awareness, not the mind, but that it's awareness that is aware of that energetic feeling of peace, stillness, then is that awareness affected by the phenomena? And the answer to that we're going to ultimately see is no. Now, the same is true, Leah, and I'm going to come back to you to check in with you in a moment. This kind of rock or heaviness or whatever you were talking about, we can ask the same question: who or what is aware of that? This rock hasn't always been there, at least on those two occasions, and probably at other points in your life if you were to reflect back on it. The sense of that hasn't always been there. That in itself is a phenomena, this heaviness or this rock. Who is aware of the rock or the heaviness? Who or what is aware of it? And even if you can't see that right now, eventually the conclusion we're going to come to is that that is awareness. And again, just like when we were looking at peace and stillness, is that awareness affected by the appearance of heaviness or this rock? And then we're going to see that the answer to that is no. Do you want to come back, Leah, and see where you're at with that just now? If you want to turn your mic back on.
Yeah. That's what I do. I ask what's observing that, what is that appearing in? So that does sometimes will connect me to that spacious feeling. It's just making sure I don't let my curiosity sort of become the focus. Oh, is that, yeah. Because I know when it does come up, it feels like it comes up on its own.
Yes.
In that. So it's almost when I'm distracted or just yeah. So I think just taking, I don't know, just not worrying about that perception shift and that the inquiries feel like they hit a brick wall. I think that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm just hoping that's the right approach too.
So basically, let's say that appears. Awareness has no problem with it.
Yeah.
And the one that you can trust here is awareness. Everything else you can ignore. When it comes to self-realization, I'm talking about here now. So the phenomena appears. There can be a recognition of it and a trusting process that, okay, this phenomena of a rock or heaviness has appeared. But just accept it. Don't fight it, don't resist it, don't analyze it, don't try and do anything with it. Just observe it. Just observe it. Just completely and utterly accept it, feel it. No effort required. And in the trusting that that which is aware of it has no problem with it. And as that's trusted and allowed, that phenomena of that rock is only going to do one thing: it's going to dissolve. Now, granted, and this is why we use spiritual practice, meditation, because at first it feels like we're doing something, we're sitting down, formally meditating. But eventually we transcend the practice and we become the meditation. The living meditation is what I call it. So meditation ultimately, and this whole process of self-realization, isn't a doing. It may start out as a formal practice, but we eventually transcend the practice and we just become or realize we are the awareness, the ultimate observer. So when any phenomena shows up, any phenomena, and that can include peace and stillness, as beautiful as that might be, there's still a witness to that. There's still a witness to it. And that which you are is that witness. Is that witness. So your mind will try and get this, but that is ultimately a futile path. Just simply silently accepting the phenomena here, trusting only the awareness. In this way we will dissolve the perceived block. And it is only a perceived block, however intense or strong it may be. So this is why it's said, ultimately there's nothing you have to do. And the reason for that is because your essence is already this. But the reason practice and inquiry is recommended or pointed at by realized beings over the millennia is that these are like stepping stones or bridges to it, but eventually the stepping stone and the bridge disappears and it's simply realized, oh my gosh, I am that and have always been that. How you doing, Leah?
Good. Very, yeah, still, thank you.
Very
Still,
still, good, perfect. So even the stillness is seen, and you're the witness to that. So people, going back to the inquiry I included tonight, what if I had nothing to prove, or who am I without anything to prove? This is another reason for this inquiry, because you don't have to prove anything to the universe or to do anything to be this. You're just simply silently always, always, always it. Not because this guy called Philip says so, because that's just how it is, and it doesn't require belief or any activity. You just are that. You just are that. Let me check in with Leah one more time just to make sure that's okay for you.
yeah, that's great, thank you.
Good. Good. It's so simple, this, folks. And this is not just Leah I'm talking to. It's ultimately profoundly simple. All the tools, techniques, and practices are just stepping stones to this realization. Nothing you have to do. Nothing you have to prove. Nothing you have to learn. Your essence, that which you truly are, is already this. That's why it's called a realization. It's the greatest aha moment the universe has to offer. And you're here for this. That's the ultimate reason you're here. It may be expressed in many and varied ways, and there may be some unique expression in your form. But the ultimate part of that is that you're here to realize this. We've probably got time for one other question. I could keep on talking there, but I want to just see if there's any other questions or things to be asked or shared. Just having a look across the screen here. Can't see anybody with their hand up. Oh, I can. Lewis. Do you want to unmute yourself, Lewis? I can't hear anything from you, I'm afraid. Maybe your sound's not working.
Is that any better?
Ah, yes, I can hear you now. I can hear a little bit anyway. Go on.
Right. Hello.
Hi, Lewis. Lost you again.
Yeah, I've
Hello.
hello. Can you not hear me?
Oh, I can now. Yes, go
All right. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what my question was.
on. That's okay. Okay, so no worries.
I think it's really just about just trying to pinpoint more on what you're talking. You know, kind
Yes.
of. Yeah.
Okay. So the point the guidance that's being offered, the insight that's being offered is that, we can be deluded and believe in the idea that there's something that we have to do for this realization to flower. There's something that has to be proved, gained, reached to demonstrate worthiness or some knowledge. None of those things are true. No amount of knowledge, no amount of learning, no amount of efforting, no amount of trying is going to bring one to this. And the reason for that is simply because your essence is already it. Already it. Eternally it. And so the inquiry, one of the things I haven't shared tonight about the inquiry is there's a little quote I jotted down quite a lot of years ago now. But the fundamental spiritual inquiry is, who am I? And the part that comes after that that's very instructive is, who am I? The question dissolves the questioner and the self is realized. The question dissolves the questioner and the self is realized. That's like in the meditation, the sliver of ice that's in this ocean of water. And this ocean is so vast in relation to the sliver of ice, and the energetic imprint of that, it's only going to do one thing, it's just going to dissolve. And this identity self that we've been conditioned into believing that we are when we trust only the awareness, which is actually everywhere, not just at the base, that identity, just like the sliver of ice, is just going to melt into awareness. Not because of anything that you've done. You've got good points for good behavior or stuff like that. It's because you are already it. And so all our inquiries, all our practices are simply acting as a stepping stone or a bridge to it. And we eventually transcend those. We go beyond the practice. We go beyond the inquiry. And the realization simply, silently flowers. So meditation and spiritual inquiry are like, sometimes I refer to it as two wings, one angel. It's really just two aspects of the same thing. And eventually they just merge and we realize we are this living meditation. Anything else on that for you, Lewis? Was it just to reinforce that a bit further?
Yes, using the term living meditation. That's an, so that kind of says that the living bits included in the picture.
Yes, yes, yeah. So the infinite silence, infinite awareness is life itself. That's what life is, and you are that.
Mm.
So that's why I refer to it as a living meditation. It's a living meditation. At this point, it's no longer a practice. It's no longer a sitting down formally and meditating. It's simply always here.
Right.
That doesn't mean that it's not a good idea to formally sit down and still meditate, even when the realizations flow. Philip does that every day. This body-mind still sits down for an hour formally and everything disappears. But even whilst we're sat here now, and the vehicle of the silence is communicating through this vehicle, and you hear the vibrations of the voice of Philip. The pointing, the guidance, the wisdom, if you want to call it, isn't Philip's. It's coming directly from the silence and is being communicated. And within that pointing and that guidance, because it's coming from that inner space, it carries the energetic signature of silence. And that same silence, that same awareness is embedded, enfolded within your form. And so you may hear and understand the English words being used here, but the deeper communication going on is that we're all this awareness, not just at the base, we're all this. And that is in communion, common union with itself always. And so it's like a resonant field. If the vibration of silence is here and identity is down here, the more one opens, then there's an entrainment that takes place naturally and joins and opens you to this, because it's already here. already here. How are you doing, Lewis?
Yeah, all right. I think I keep trying to make pictures of it.
Yeah,
I
forget
try and-
that. Yeah, the mind will try to analyze it, picture it, draw pictures of it. Ultimately, all of those you can drop. You won't get at it from the mind. This is why I use the term inner standing as opposed to understanding.
Mm.
It's a natural knowing that arises from within. Suddenly, the veil of the mind, a space clears, and like an aha moment arises. So don't try and understand what I'm saying. Instead, just remain open, and the inner standing will arise naturally.
Yeah. I think I keep, you got my feelings of my body and my back, and I keep trying to bring my attention beyond that into the empty space types.
Yeah, so that won't work.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, yeah.
So those feelings in your body, your back, and so forth, they're phenomena recognized by awareness
Mm.
without any effort on your part. For instance, if it was windy here now, very windy outside, it isn't, but if it was and it was really, really loud wind, such a loud enough for you guys to hear it on wherever you are in the world, whether it's in Sweden or Australia or in the UK or in the USA, all places we've got people here tonight. Awareness would go, oh, sounds windy where Philip is. Without any effort, you would notice that it was windy. And you just accept that fact. It's like that with all phenomena. Awareness notices them. It has no problem with any of them. It just watches silently and effortlessly. It has no judgment about any of them. Doesn't try to analyze them or second guess them or get rid of them or fight them. It just watches. No effort required. That's meditation. Like that. Okay, Lewis?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Good.